Hi everyone, it's Sonia here from Sonia's Mixed Media, and today I'm showing my Dede inspired mini magazine playground journal, and I have been having heaps of fun. As you can see from my fingers, I've been doing a lot of painting and getting messy and finger painting and just having an absolute ball with this journal. So I want to show it off to everyone, get everyone inspired who's watching, and hopefully you all get on board with this project because it's so much fun. I cannot thank Dede enough, and also I can't shout out enough to everyone out there to get messy and have a play. I have done quite a few entries in my journal, so it's really coming along. So I want to show you all these pages today that I've done and get the inspiration juices going. So I did some this morning, that's why I'm all messy here, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wash my hands. I'm going to show you how amazing that is to get dirty and just to play. So there you go, look at my fingers, quite proud of those. Anyway, so here we go. So I made my journal out of two magazines. They were both Daphne's Diary magazines. Stuck them together as in Dede's suggestion in her videos, and yeah, it's all working out well. I have had a few pages that have come loose, but I've just taped them with some masking tape. So yeah, just stuck them back in with the masking tape, and you know, I'll just paint right over the top of that masking tape, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I did add some tape to my cover just to protect it from paint and spills and things like that. So this is my, well, I haven't done these in orders. I've done them like I flipped front, back, middle, front, back, middle, like Dede suggests. So this is not actually my first page that I've done, but it's the first I will show you, and it's one that I'm really happy with. This owl was, I cut this owl out actually from a different magazine because it didn't have too much on the page, and I also cut out tore out the angel and stuck it in here. So don't be afraid if your magazine doesn't have really nice images on every page, just go get a nice image from another magazine and tear it out and just glue it in and then work around that. So that's what I did with those two. The bird was already here on this page, and I added some of my stenciling in the grey. And the reason why I add stenciling to mine is so that I can come back and use this purely as a doodle journal. So I'm trying to do a lot of stenciling and stamping and areas I can write, so that when I've completely covered it all in paint, all my background pages, I'm going to come back and just use it as a doodle journal when I'm bored or I'm watching a movie and just need to be doing something, have something in my hands going. This is what I'm going to grab. So that's my first page. Really like that, how that turned out. This is a page that Dede suggested, with the who, what, where, when, why, and how. If you want to use it as a inspiration for writing stories or using it for inspiration for art, that's the 6 words she suggests that you use to get the ideas flowing. Just did this doodle here, and this girl was already on the page. I don't know if you can see her very well. I'll try to get her up close. There she is, and I just doodled around her, and I've already started doodling some hair on her. So it could very possibly end up that she has a whole head of hair by the end of, by the time I finish doodling with that. So that's where I'm going with that one. Here is a page I did recently. Now, most pages you'll find in your magazine, when they do layouts, they will kind of match each other. But these two pages did not match each other, and I didn't think I did, yeah. I can just see that I actually tore a page out of here, so they probably did match each other. But because I did that, these two pages then didn't match colours at all. So I just had to treat them individually. So I used the colours in the apples and the toffees to do that page, and I really like it because it's one of my brighter pages and I just think it really pops. I really like that one. And then this is like a pastel-y one where I kept, it had like a wood background and I just kept all the pots and cups and things on this page. But really like how they both turned out in their individual ways. Oh, I missed a few, I think. Okay, this one here is a recent one I've done as well. Just picked the yellows and the white to get rid of some of that writing, and then just use the yellow that was in the flowers to just put a bit of colour on that. And I left this writing up here that says a source of inspiration. So I can then, and this little tag I can journal on, and I can doodle around or do writing. So my next page was this one, which I worked along Dede with her video. She did something similar, I remember, with some flowers. I had a very similar page, so I kind of worked with her and did a lot of finger painting on this one. And I really like it, like all the beautiful colours. I think it looks really arty. It's like the colours have been splashed on, but in a very artistic way, like you see paintings, like proper artist paintings. So I'm really liking it. Let's see, what do I have next? Oops, trying to get to the ones that I've finished. This one, now these characters were already again in the book, I believe, or did I tear them out? No, I tore them out. How's that? I actually blended it so well I couldn't tell for a second. These characters were actually in this Daphne magazine, but I tore them out beforehand thinking I would use them in collage somewhere else, but ended up putting them back in. But they are actually from a Daphne diary, and again use the colours within this and within this print to do the background colours of this one. And there's a bunny over here I liked, so I kept the bunny, and there was a little owl up the top and I kept the little owl as well. But yeah, just getting it ready. Like I can add stamps to this page, or I can add stenciling. You know, it's the sort of journal that I want to keep coming back to and keep working in and progressively get better and better. This one here I'm actually just going to leave just because it says done is to simply begin. So I did begin, and I put this cupcake on a plate on this page thinking that I was going to paint around and blend it in, but because of those words I'm just going to keep it like that, and you know, just remind myself that you know, to finish something you have to actually begin it and get going, because I procrastinate a lot by watching everyone else's videos instead of doing my own stuff. Another page I did earlier on, just sort of used the blues in the pictures here. So I used the blues and whites, and then added some stencils that I made. These stencils, these round stencils, were made with hot glue and then stuck on a plastic sheet, and then I just dabbed some paint on and pressed it down. And again, this is something that I can come back to and doodle with my white Posca pen and make those circles really stand out a bit better. Then I have this page, and I really love this doll image I found in one of my vintage doll magazines. So I really wanted that in here and sort of worked around it using the pinks and whites, and also the pinks and whites in this flower that was already on the magazine page. And then again, just used one of my handmade stencils for the spots on each page. So it's a really pretty page. I don't know what I'm going to do to this one, but it's a work in progress. It's another one. I've added these butterfly images here. Kept the little girl and the little teacups on the page, and then added some more of my stenciling up the top ready to doodle over as well. And I can draw some butterflies here, or you know, add whatever I want to that page. This is the one that I just finished, hence the green fingers. And this had a beautiful tree here that I didn't want to cover at all. So what I did is I blanked out all the writing with white paint, and then I went in with a bit of green and a bit of more white, and I used my stamps of these leaves. Put Discover Nature because it was such a green page, and left the little gold binoculars here, which I'll probably doodle around. And what I wanted to say was I used my wet wipe, my baby wipes, to actually get a bit of, when I cleaned my stamp for the leaves, what I did is I did it with my baby wipe, and then I had ink on my baby wipe, and that's this lighter green you see, and I actually used that to paint a little bit as well. So that's another technique you can use, is actually using the ink on your baby wipe that you've cleaned your stamp with. You can use that on your page, actually paint. So that was something I discovered today. So not only discovered nature, but discovered a different technique. And this page started falling out, so I had to tape it this side and the other side because it actually nearly completely fell out. So but I really like that, and I just have a feeling that I might do a bit of writing in some black ink on this page. For some reason I just keep imagining some nice cursive text here. What have I got? So I've got a page here. Some of these I've showed in my other videos, but I just thought I'd run through them again. I hope you can see. This one's just got a lot of stamping, strawberries, love hearts, and I actually used my craft knife. Is it called a craft knife or spatula, whatever they are? I used that to do this page instead of my fingers, which was fun to do. So it gives it that really messy look, grungy look, and I really like it. This is a page I did earlier on in the book as well. Again, just picking the colours from what was on the page. And then it had this little shop down here, which I turned into a little art shop by doodling there. I did a big paintbrush and a picture of a flower and a sign at the front, and it's called Little Art Shop. I changed the name of it. Just doodled around these frames over here, and these flowers and plants were already on the page and you could still see them through the paint, so I actually doodled them back in, so that was fun to do. Another page I did recently, just used another one of my hand carved stencils. And just a bit of blotching around here. There's some love hearts that I'm keen to doodle around as well. I did it on the opposite page as well. I should have grabbed a drink because my throat is getting a bit itchy. This is one of the first pages I also showed, and I really love it. It's still one of my favourites, with the texture paste making the triangles on the page. This was already here, this vase with flowers, so I used that colour in my triangles. So just love the colours, love the texture, just love how it looks like just abstract art, really. Getting there, I'm about halfway through. Hope I haven't lost anyone yet. Still inspired. Again, I added this doll here. It's an old Raggedy Ann doll. And used the red hair for inspiration. So a lot of reds and pinks on this page. And just used a roll I had. It wasn't a toilet roll, but it was thicker. And used that to make circles. Just a simple technique there. And comes out pretty good. This one is a favourite. Got really thick and messy with my craft knife. And got lots of nice texture with the paint going there. I doodled around these pictures, made them into frames, and then I wrote "No time to be blue." Because when you feel blue, you should just get crafting. You won't be blue anymore. This is just a really quick page. I have a few pictures in the Daphne Diary that are like this, which are really nice prints just as they are. So I didn't want to fully, see that? Aren't they beautiful? I don't want to fully cover them, or I don't really want to touch them much at all. So this one I actually did a little bit too much on, but I just added white. A little bit of white just to kind of blend it, and then I got my pink spritzer and just did that, but that was actually a bit too much on those pages. But that's how they look, and I'm really not sure. I might just do a bit of paint next time around the border and leave it at that. This is another one that I did today, and it had this owl here, and I was really keen to use my feather stamp that I had carved out of foam, so I used that to make lots of more feathers around, and I'm really looking forward to doodling on the feathers. And then this one had spots around the border, so of course I used spots, left the little girl with the fairy floss. And yeah, I might even make this. At first I thought I'd make them into like balloons, and then I thought, oh, maybe I might make some into fairy floss. I'm not really sure, but just a bit of fun with those pages. This one's had a lot of green leaves and garden scenes on it, so I went with that. I just left the shutters, and these leaves were already painted on the page. So just added a bit of stamping to that. Again, just, no, they were stencils actually, stencils that I made. And again, just a lovely doodling spot. This one I've showed earlier. With the autumn leaves and the cat, I made this a wall stencil. I really love these two pages together, just think they blend so well. This one was one of the first pages I did when I decided to make this journal, was seeing this page by Dede. When she did this page, that's when I finally decided, yep, I'm going to go and do this and make it. So I put inspired, and I said that I'd write Dede's name, and I did. There's Dede Willingham, and yeah, that's pretty much, if you look at her video, she has a picture very similar to this, and this is what I sort of copied and got inspired by. Then we have my orange and blue page, and just kept some of the cutlery and cups in this page. I don't know, maybe I might even write a recipe on here or something. Not sure what I'll do with this page yet. This one is, I was watching another YouTuber I really love and I think is hilarious. Her name is Elizabeth Brewer. And she was learning, now I'm trying to think of the word, dendritic, something like that, printing. It's where you put paint between two sheets of glass or plastic. I use plastic because I didn't have glass. And it makes these beautiful patterns in your paint. So yeah, I did that with this journal, just did a few here and then on this side as well. So if you want to learn more about that technique, go to Elizabeth Brewer's YouTube page, and she was learning it there and I learnt it from her. This was just like, I didn't like anything on the pages underneath, so I just whited out the whole lot and just did my own thing. And I had a bit of a play and used stencils, but on this page I just blobbed blobs of paint and got a straw and just blew on it. And I got all these amazing patterns in here. So it's kind of like, I remember doing it when I was a kid, but yeah, you just blow really hard and the paint, you know, goes in all these beautiful kind of spider leggy type shapes, and that was really something fun and different to play with on that day. Another one I showed earlier was Get Wild, and this actually has butterflies in tiger prints kind of on the page already, so I left those, and then I add the Get Wild, and I added some stenciling that looked kind of like an animal pattern and doodled around the stencil already. So this is on its way to being finished. Another one I've already shown, this is Create Art, and the castle was already there. And I left this kind of writing and made it kind of into a scroll type thing. And that's my other page. It's the only page I've really used a lot of browns and golds in. So I'm trying to use some different colours throughout. Here's another one. I was inspired by the orange chair here. So I used a lot of orange and golds and different blends of oranges, and then I dribbled it all up the top very runny and put the book upwards like this and just let it all run down. I just think it looks really nice. So again, a great doodling page ready for work. Another one, I used texture paste with one of my stencils, and again was inspired by Dede. She was doing some similar flowers, and I worked along with that video and created my own sort of page from that. And it looks like the very last one to show is this one. Again, I've showed this in a previous video. Stuck this image of this doll in, and this was already here with the doll legs and the scissors, and this was all done with finger painting, and then I just added the love heart stencils to each page, and I really like how that turned out as well. All the colours are really vibrant and pretty, and that's all I've got up to so far. I have added in, if I can find some like this, I've added in some collage pages, just pictures that I like or colourful, to add to the pages that don't have much on them. So I added this wagon to this one. The next page I want to work on, yeah, I added this church over here. The next one I want to work on, I don't know if I can find it, but it's actually a, oh, here it is. It's a beautiful teddy bear in blue and yellow. And I didn't even realise till after I stuck it on, but it actually says Mr. Bear. So that's definitely going to stay there. But I thought it really blended nice with this pattern on the side. And then it had this beautiful bee and bird on this page. So that's going to be really nice in purples and navies and the yellows. So that's the one I want to work on next. So that is my mini magazine playground. I hope you've enjoyed viewing this, and I want to thank Dede Willingham for a shout out that she gave me. Thank you, Dede, for that. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope people come and have a look. And I also wanted to show that I am keeping all my baby wipes that I wipe my hands on when I do clean my hands, because I've heard that you can use these as backgrounds for journals, And you can also make, I haven't watched the video yet, but I've seen that you can make flowers from them as well, like 3D flowers. So I've been keeping all my wet wipes, and they really are, you know, sometimes quite pretty colours when you're finished with them, and they get kind of firm afterwards, so they're really nice to have on hand. These are just a couple that are pulled out, but I've actually probably got about 20 of them sitting there, and I always keep them now. I don't know what I'm going to use mine for, but eventually I will. So that's another tip for you. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. Have a great crafting day. I hope you get messy fingers. Love you. Bye.